So, hey everyone, welcome to Strangers Talk, where we dive the place into the minds of young thinkers, dreamers, and doers around the world. Here we are not just talking, we are learning, questioning, and breaking from the things that hold us back. Today we are tackling with something huge, something that's shaping our generation more than we realize. We are talking about the social dilemma, silent battle that we all fight against the endless scrolling, make fake perfections, and the feeling of being controlled by our own devices, mental health, mobile addictions, the trap of social media, why we are so hooked, and more importantly, how do we take back control? So, and to explore this, I have an incredible guest today. Her name is Omka and she is from Uzbekistan and a 17-year-old girl. And so we are going to dive into a conversation where we learn a lot of things. So without doing any further delay, let's move into the podcast. So
Should I
where
introduce myself?
yeah, of course.
Alright, so you didn't provide any information about me except my name, so I guess I have to talk about it on my own. So, hi everyone, and as it said, my name is Gulsum, but it's really hard to remember. Well, you can just call me Umka anytime, well, I just feel free. Well, currently I'm 17 years old. Well, I'm gonna graduate high school this year, and I'm currently planning to study abroad, in which I'm not just planning or dreaming about it, but I'm also trying to do something, taking action in terms of my dream. So, applying for universities, college application stuff. Well, besides that, I don't do just study. Besides my academics, I try to do something that is useful for community. And if you're interested, like I have my own project which is called Freedom, where I help students to feel free about themselves, like talk about their mental problems, mental issues, where we have discussions together, and I help them to get through their mental problems like depression, stress, or like being lazy, productivity problems, based on my own experience, because being a teenager is not really easy, where you need someone to talk to all the time, you need someone who can you rely on, who you can feel comfortable with talking, and I just want to create that atmosphere with my peers or with students who are younger than me. That's why I created this community. Well, besides that, I do some community service, which is tutoring as well for kids who are younger than me. As I am fluent and I know English well, I just do tutoring classes for like for free sometimes. For if I have some, if I, sometimes I get money as well. Well, it depends on it. So yeah, I do tutoring and I have my own project. So I try to do something for which is useful for community all the time. That's who I am.
That's great. Like it sounds so interesting. Your
Yeah,
life.
like
So
kinda, you can say so.
yeah. So I ask you a question. Like, you like before we dive into the deep conversation, I want to know. Like, tell me about your journey. How you were like able to. What's inspire you to build the community to help the childrens and
um,
teach them
oh
with
yeah.
like how you get the time to like with your studies and like how you manage it, how you get the free time for other people, like you even like in You they are not paying you. You're just like doing for your own sake to helping others. So how do you do it as a
Well,
17?
you're not the only one who's asking me because it's really hard for someone who's really busy with college application. For those who know how really hard it is, if you are planning to study abroad, especially because your portfolio thing is gonna take a lot of time, like activity leagues, extracurriculars, essays. So it's hard with my college application, with my school, and also like tutoring and my project. Of course it's hard to manage, but for the like sake of my sleep, I kind of manage it because I don't sleep well. I'm not gonna say I don't sleep, but sometimes I have to sleep less because I have to do presentations, and I have to interact some kind of my teaching methods. I have to work on them really regularly. So I try to manage my time by being productive. Like if you start to restrict yourself from using social media, if you leave no busy time for yourself, like it's really good because you will not be stressed when you keep yourself busy all the time, and also you will have a productive day. So I guess it's because of my ambition for helping, like because since I was like how can I say, like 10 or 9 years old, I was really shy and introverted girl, and I really needed help. I was really struggling in my shelf, like in my shell, because it really is something. It really takes a lot of courage for you to go out from your comfort zone and to be open with people, to express yourself, because we tend to hide our emotions from outside our world. So it's not for everyone to be open and to create something, to build something. Not everyone can do it. But because I struggled a lot, I really wanted to help like those around me who were reaching out to me with same problems. And I said to myself, why don't I just create a community with people? Why don't I just gather those people and help them to work together, and we will just work together? Because I am also not a perfect person, so with students who need help, we all always work together. And I guess it's because my own experience, how stressed and how I needed help, because I had no one to ask advice for. I had basically no one to guide, and it took me a lot of time to figure out things on my own. That's why I want to help people not to make the same mistakes as me, and to guide them and help them as much as I can. Yeah, that was my ambition. So pretty much because of my passion, I did this.
That is so inspiring to listen from a
It was
17-year-old
too
person.
long, I guess, but
Yeah, it is a lot more inspiring for like a person of your age, like for me also.
I I'm glad it sounds inspiring rather than, makes you feel sleepy.
Yeah. So,
All right.
do yeah.
Go,
Uh,
go on. You can ask me your questions.
okay. Like you interacted with so many childrens, like you also started the community, like you also teach, and so you talk to a lot of students in your life and like observe them. But do you notice any pattern in them, like how teenagers these days they think, behave, or like struggle in their life? Can you have like any explanation?
Well, I guess they mostly have problems with responsibility. Well, they don't, and I'm seeing a lot of kids, and I see a lot of students who are preparing for the university, like later life. They come and ask some kind of suggestions and advice, but I don't really think that they feel the responsibility from inside. Well, all the time their parents have to force them to study, but they don't feel the importance of education in their life. So I guess it's because maybe their parents are not spending enough time with them and explaining how important is education for their later lives. But instead of, maybe they're not paying too much attention for their children. I guess
Yeah,
because of being irresponsible, they are having a lot of problems, like to find their own way and to be lost, because they have been wasting their times instead of spending it for education. They have
Yeah,
been spending their youth, having fun temporarily with their friends, but spending it for something, like useful for later life. I guess responsibility is the thing I would say.
yeah, that's a great point. These days, like parents are not investing time with their like
Yes,
uh,
they don't invest enough time for their children.
about knowing how they are doing in their life. That's the main problem.
They are too busy with providing them with financially. So they
Hmm.
say their kids are doing fine and they think that by providing them financially, they think they do enough. But there is more than that, like beyond, like you have to look at the
Yeah,
problem from another angle. It's not enough providing them financially. They only need, they also need like mental support from their parents sometimes.
yeah, yeah. That's a great point. So, what's one advice you should give to every parents like who is watching it and to how
Oh my God.
would like increase the
It's
how to
actually
manage the
um,
responsibility.
it's actually too weird for me to give suggestions for parents, like when I have no experience of being a parent. Well, I would say like I also talk to parents. So when students don't do their homework or when they fail their test, so I have to call their parents and like, so your kid failed the test. So I just want to inform you because kids feel so shy to talk about their failure to their parents because they're gonna beat them up. So they're afraid of their
Yeah,
parents, definitely. Uh, that's why I just tell them and explain everything politely. So it would be really great if you find some time for your kids and children or child and ask them how is their study going. So what did you learn? So what are you learning? What are your plans for the future? So it would be great if you listen to them and talk to them. So that they would feel more responsible. Like, oh my God, my if I go home, my parents will ask me what I learned today, or if my parents ask me what's my score from the test. So even for their parents, they start to be more responsible. So I guess keeping in touch like getting information from their kids, like from academic point, would be really good, I guess, for parents.
like acting as an accountability partner in their life to take accountability for their actions, like what they are doing in their life. That is the most important thing. So like
Yes, that is
they're
important.
more responsible in guiding them. So we are moving to the next question. If you had to describe the teenage experience in one word, what would it be?
Mm. Emotional. Yeah, emotional. Because well, I guess like kids right now, not kids but like mostly teenagers, but as I'm a teenager right now, but compared to before, I am more reserved and like calm, like found my way and not stressed as I used to be before. But it would be emotional, but for no reason. You feel so empty and you feel so lost sometimes, but you don't know the reason. Well, you get so emotional because it's a stage where you move from being a kid and you start to put some steps for your adult life. So it's the between. So you move from like the maturity part. So you move from being a kid to an adult life. So in that period you meet a lot of people. You will have a lot of experience because in that period that life will teach you, will prepare you for being an adult. So it's a really hard part for every single person on earth because being teenager is all about having difficulties with emotions, only emotions. You don't have too much difficulties in life like adults, but still you'll have a lot of emotional problems. That's why I would say it's emotions and being emotional.
Yeah, that's most important thing I also noticed. Like in these days, like teenagers are not able to manage their emotions that
Yes,
much maturely. That's what's need. Like they need a guidance in that. So we can like
exactly.
set. That's you're working on also, like in your communities, like helping young
Yeah, I am like trying to help them at least. I try to
in
basically explain that it's okay. I mean, to feel in that way.
yeah,
Sometimes they feel so alone and isolated, but it's okay.
that's a great initiative started by you and inspiring for me. So how much time do you think the average teenager spends on their phone? And be honest, like what about you? How much time you spend?
Oh my God. Well, honestly, the time they shouldn't be spending more than 4 or 5 hours. More than 4 or 5 hours. Well, I don't say like don't use social media at all, but you should use social media because it's fun, first of all, and second of all, you get information. Especially
Yeah,
if you are learning another language and you see content creators of another world and you mix both language learning with something fun and you use social media, you will learn something like definitely. That's why you should use it, like with limited time, like 4 or maybe at most 5 hours. But for me as well, screen time is like this, like 4 hours, sometimes maybe 5 hours, because I do most of my time, I mean, most of my work on social media, connecting people, like researching all the time, like trying to be updated about the world. So sometimes my screen time tend to get high, but I'm still trying to manage it somehow. So
yeah,
it's really important to have some limitations.
yeah, that's a great thing. What I noticed, like in the teenager, when they have like only free times in their vacation or whether they are completely free, they have like their screen time is too much, not 4 hours, just like three times more, 12 hours.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Sometimes when my students don't do homework, I have my habit. So I just ask them to give me their phone. I get their phone and I tell them to unlock their phones, and I go to like settings and I check screen time. So I show them, oh my God, instead of doing homework, you spend time like 2 hours on Instagram. What the hell did you do on Instagram? So I just try to explain how bad it is, or when they try to make excuses like they didn't have enough time to do homework, I like take the blame for themselves. Like it's your fault because you spend on social media time, but you didn't have time for homework. Then they feel guilty at the end.
yeah, I think you are a good teacher also. Yeah,
It's because I'm Gen Z. I know what do they do. I know their problem.
yeah, God.
I'm modern one. I'm friendly.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good thing. For me, like my screen time is like most of the thing I do online for my classes to like many things. Uh, leave the classes, I use social media around like I'm just trying to quit. Like I just did many things on that. For a month, I didn't use anything for 0 minutes. I did it, and like
Wow.
uh, after that, like I experienced, asked questions like, is it really necessary for me or not? Or like
Huh.
people care if I don't use social media. So I found like the answer is no. Like no one cares that it is not that much important to use it like regularly
Yeah.
or get about the things that are going. Like you can use it whenever it's needed for limited time. That's you can get online when it's needed only. And it's really important. But most of the times you don't really need it. You're just making excuse to go on there. So that's
Yeah.
I found from my experience. So I use
On
like
your end.
learning mostly like for my classes and like for sometimes I use for information on YouTube and I use like yeah, that's it. So
It
we are
was
moving
your
to
own personal experience. I had the same idea though.
what?
It was your personal experience. It's great.
Oh, yeah. I learned it from like a book called Deep Work by like the Carl
Yeah.
Newport. There he like tells the way how like you can get to know like is it really matters or not. Like in these
Mm-hmm.
days, there the social media company and these companies like trying to give you like make believe you like s- internet and social media are like bloodline of your life, but in reality it is not. They are not your bloodline of your life. It not matters that much. They just selling it to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I think
Right.
I will recommend that book to read. Must read for everyone. Deep Work by Carl Newport. Very amazing book.
Great that you learned it on time.
Yeah. But earlier, I also like wasted a lot of time on social media. I'm not that focused, but I understand. Yeah, everyone
But
faced
you
that.
learned at least. You learned from your experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, do you
That's
ever catch yourself scrolling and suddenly realize an hour is gone? What were you even looking at?
oh yeah, like it really happens when before going to bed. Sometimes I feel so tired and like, oh, just let's see what's going on. What's my friends are posting. So what's going on? Sometimes I don't use social media for like a month as well. Like I just delete them, and after downloading, oh, let me check what's going on. What's news have been. So when I was just I entered the app with the intention of spending maybe a certain maximum minutes, but it goes on. Oh my god, 2 hours has passed already. Oh my god, I regret so much. Then because of the regret that I felt, like I try not to do it, repeat the same mistake again. It happens. It really happens. Honestly, if you
Yeah,
take it too long back.
it happened with many people, not only you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's okay. Not, you don't have to curse yourself for spending so much time. Well, you will fix it.
You need to take action about that, like making it, uh, like making yourself more accountable of how you
Yeah.
use it. I think the best book to refer for this is like Deep Work or Hyper Focus by Chris Bailey. They will like that book will help you in that becoming more focused and how you can manage your time and attention in best way. So without doing any like delay, we are moving to the next question. Like these days, like big companies literally design apps to make
Mm-hmm.
us addicted. If you
Mm-hmm.
had to redesign social media to be healthier, what would it what would you change in that?
Getting rid of filters. For real.
It,
Well, there is so much filter when you want to take a photo. Like, doesn't matter. I mean, it really makes you feel insecure. I mean, I had also had the same experience. I remember downloading Snapchat for the first time, and I found it so fun. I mean, so fun to use the filters. But it was really it was really, I mean, amazing when I saw myself like being more beautiful, like with the filters on. But I use it like regularly for a long time, maybe like 7 or 6 months. And when I just, but during that time, I had never touched my, simple camera on my phone. But when I used the camera, when you have like group photos, like I was like, oh my god, I started to feel insecure and I started to feel kind of ugly. And I was like, oh my god, it's not healthy. I realized that I started to compare myself like with the filters on and without the filters. And I started to think that, and I was so young, like 12 or 13. I started to think like, oh my god, it would be better. I would be more happier if I had the beauty that I have is the filters on in real life as well. But I knew it wasn't impossible, but I thought maybe I will fix it with makeup when I get older. And I was from young age convincing myself, to fit into like beauty standards which doesn't exist and which are not healthy at all.
Yeah.
So I guess like too much filters, like comparing people with the filters on and without the filters, like making them feel insecure instead of like making them feel more loud about themselves. Like it's really wrong, and a lot of people are getting too much obsessed with that.
Mm, yeah, that's the one point of view, but like I'm asking what you want to really redesign in other social media apps like YouTube, Instagrams, like mostly YouTube, like that is the most like used app on the social
Uh,
media network, I guess. Like
Maybe
what do
I would
you
put like yeah, got it. But if we talk about like Facebook or like YouTube, like which they use most, I would probably put a screen time. For example, no more than 4 hours a day, probably, because some people even spend more than 4 hours only on YouTube. So we don't know. Maybe I would put officially screen times like for everyone, so that they wouldn't have any access to the app after
like
they
the
reach the
age
time limit.
like you mean according to age like people's have their time limit. You mean that?
Yeah, according to the age or like maybe general, you do have that function on phone, but if you are too addicted, you can just change it and cancel your screen time limit. So you will never know what will happen. That's why I would make it official, making it impossible to change your time limit.
Yeah. Got you. Like this is kind of thing happened in China. Chinese government did it, applied it in their like. mm, I asked from Chinese friends like I have. They said like they can't play games on these like most of the day. I guess from Monday to Saturday, and they can't use their phone for playing games in the night. It is completely off. Uh, due to like restriction from government, you can't access. That's a
Yeah,
great
I get
initiative.
that. That's really good. That's really good.
That's how you can like, and from my point of view, you can like on YouTube, like not do not go on the recommendation tab. Like you don't need to go on the recommendation tab. So you should avoid recommendation tab. Just go on the search bar most of the time. Like
Mhm.
when in search bar, just direct searching what is needed, what is the information you need. Just search it directly without going on the recommendation tab. Like it's recommendation tab is like just a slot machine in your casino. Like when you
Mhm.
casino, you put the money and turn the button on, then the number
Mhm.
came. Just like that. When you sweep up or down for new content, it's just give you a new content. Just give you
Mhm.
like that, act like that, gambling. You are doing gambling. It's like that. So it will also affect your mental health in the
Yeah,
long term. So
definitely.
you should like use one app I use mostly, two extensions, Chrome extension. One is called Unhook and second one is called Social Focus. So by Unhook, you can hide all the things which are not important for you. You can only turn on
Mhm.
the everything is off. Like while watching your video, you can only see the video, not the sidebars of video and the recommendation that show on YouTube. Like while you watch the videos, that's the main thing. And for the
Mhm.
focus, the most important thing about that application is it is a Chrome extension you can download in mobile and laptop. Like for mobile, you should download other browsers that allow extension to download.
Mhm.
Social focus
I guess you
for that.
should put the link.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
said push
And
link the link or name, write down the
I
names
think-
of the applications for some people to download it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So social
They should
focus,
know because it's useful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Social is focus is for hiding the thumbnails from YouTube. Like it's hide the thumbnail completely. You will
Mm,
only see the names of the title of the video. So it's not distracting because like on YouTube, mostly the people upload videos like for grabbing the people's first attention
attention.
thing
Yeah, yeah,
rate, like it's matter. So
yeah, yeah. True.
the text that is not that much distracting.
Yeah.
I also learned it from other YouTubers and get the audience. So do you think social media makes our life like makes us compare our lives too much? Have you ever feel that pressure? Yeah, you already told me.
Yeah, yeah. I already told, but it's not only
Okay.
about the filter. I mean, if I talk about it more broadly on that topic, well, you know what? Sometimes when you feel like successful people, not only successful people, I don't mean like comparing yourself to Elon Musk, comparing yourself to others, like not no, but when you see like someone like your peer who has achieved something like better than you, or who has achieved things more than you automatically compare yourself to them, like, oh my god, for such a young age you did this, you have been doing it, oh my god, how did you do that? And you automatically feel like, well, I am at the same age as you, but I didn't do anything like you, and you will start to feel bad for yourself, and you start to blame yourself for being lazy, for doing less, for putting less effort for your dreams. But we should consider the timing. Timing is so different for everyone. Someone gets rich at the age of 22 and goes broke at the age of maybe 45. Maybe someone gets rich at the uh, age of 45 and dies with being rich. So we never know. Everyone's timing is so different. It's everything comes in the right time. So we should never compare ourselves. It definitely affects, with even though we want it or not. Like we see people who has more, we can say like more like facilities or opportunity than us for like education, for like things we want to learn, or like their futures. So we definitely compare them. They have got a lot of things to do. I mean, they have a lot of opportunities and chances to dream, to achieve their dreams, but I don't have those kind of chance, for example financially, or maybe academically, like both. You
Yeah,
automatically compare yourself. You cannot control that. It definitely
yeah.
affects.
That's a great point. Like you're giving a great advice because like everyone times came at different. Like not
Yeah.
like someone you were saying like person who is like these days on YouTube or Instagrams, people are showing like becoming someone is become millionaire at the age of 16. Someone is like so
Yeah.
much like people are watching that and like
And
comparing
you'll be
their life
like,
like they did
I'm
as much.
18 but still broke. How can someone 14 can be millionaire? But I'm doing my best, reading books, trying, and you automatically compare yourself. Like it's true. I've been through this too. But
Yeah,
it
that's
also encourages you, to be more responsible. You'll be like boom, and like, oh my god, I have to start taking in action. Everyone is growing. Sometimes it helps you to wake up your, like warning mechanisms. But sometimes it's, like ends in with bad result as well.
yeah, that's one of the major problem these days. Uh, people like of teens, I guess Gen Zs, mostly. What do you think teen
You-
like? Yeah, what are you saying?
no, 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 just go on.
Okay, what do you think teenagers today feel more anxious and depressed than before? What's different? Like,
So you mean like Now people are more depressed than before.
Yeah,
Oh,
like from generations, like people are more depressed and like more getting anxious. Uh, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
me,
Well,
as you
you know what?
know.
I've got two answers for that. First of all, it's our fault. We are raising the standards, we are creating the pressure and setting unrealistic goals. For example, buying a Ferrari car in 1 year. It's so unrealistic. For example, you put so much unrealistic goals by comparing yourself to another people on social media or around yourself, and you keep getting disappointed, you feel anxiety, and also you feel depression. It's our fault because we are creating something that is mostly impossible to achieve, and we are forcing ourselves to do it in a short period of time. It creates, of course, depression. But next thing, I would say probably, oh my god, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Oh my
So,
god, I just forgot
okay,
it. It was so cool.
okay, we
So
can talk it next. Like during the conversation, maybe you are able to remember that.
maybe I will remember.
Yeah. So, from my point of view, these days, like teenagers are getting more depressed and anxious because the main problem with them is the mobile phone, I guess, like because
Hmm.
they attention span is getting low, very low, like even the worse than the like goldfish, you know that their student attention span is around like 8 seconds, but for like these days people their attention spans is going down than that.
Mm-hmm.
Even they can't able to focus for 7 seconds like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, data. So, like they are not able to focus. Their focus level is really messed up totally by
Yeah,
watching a
very.
videos and like that, and keeping like putting too much information in their brain, just
Yeah,
putting
it are
when
totally trash.
it's like they put like garbage information that are not important for them. And even you are putting some good information, you don't need to put like too much. Like for YouTube, like it's recommend when you watch good things, it recommend a lot of good things, like a lot
Yeah,
of it too. And you will start like you need to watch this and that and that and that, all of these. It's
yeah,
finite loop. It's never going to end in everything, whether you watch any kind of content. So it is
it
their
affects.
to they want
Yeah,
to grab your attention at all, like at any
yeah,
cost. They
at any
do it
cost.
anything to get your attention. And
Yeah,
like AI is getting more advanced now these days, like AGI is coming, like
very.
just after. Like it is more advanced than AI. And they like AI just like working on YouTube from 2005, like till from that, but it is now getting more advanced. Like they will controlling everything and know everything about you, what you think and what you do, everything, and what's your future decisions. They will shape your future decisions by themselves, by
Creating
their
plans for you, really.
contents, advertisements. So
Yeah.
mostly they hijacking your life. You like they will first hijacking you from showing you the contents, and then they hijack your brain. Basically, behind it, there are engineers that are reading your mind, like
Mm.
psychology, like psychiatric, like they were reading your mind all the time. Like in the like for more detail about it, like it is correct or not, you can
Mm.
watch the documentary called Social Dilemma. In that is they talk about like the interviews of people who retired from this, like just leave this company because of knowing that it will harming people and getting their data and using
Yeah.
them or against them, even it's Google or many companies, YouTube, everyone is using against you, like your data. just to get your attention. Like, so you can watch it to know more about it. But yeah, it's the great problem nowadays. And
Yeah,
in the
it
future,
really is.
the anxiousness and depression and many diseases are going to on a high peak. Like people are going more depressed in the future also. Like it's
Yes,
also the world is going to be more hyper stimulated in the future. Like now it's also hyper stimulated, but in the future it's going to be too much hyper stimulated.
more. Yeah, yeah, you're
Like
right.
hyper stimulation means like it's the mean like fake things like feels like real and too much idealistic. Like it's
Yeah, yeah,
just
too much.
even in
Perfectionism is gonna be on top.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Even in the like advertisement, you see the models.
yeah,
They are not in reality. They look different, but with makeup and they made like cameras and
definitely.
everything, they look just ideal form of their. They're just very different.
It does
And
not feel real. Yes.
yeah, and even in the while in the food industry also, while you eat, they will like want to get crave your dopamine more. Like they will give you the taste you never got, like that much sensation that you they create in your mouth while you eat. The
Your
companies were
imagination. Yeah,
yeah they investing billions dollars, millions just to
yeah,
make
for
the
that.
food like for first taste, like how it's when it's go enter in your mouth, how it tastes like just create that kind of thing. Many like great like many big brands are doing like in the terms of food industry and like
Mm.
in all industry it's going on like high peak. That's the serious problem nowadays and it's going so much big in the future. So you need to like ah, take your controls. No one is
Yeah.
going to help you because
We
they are
jumped
working.
from being depressed into like how AI is gonna affect in our lives, how advertising affects on our lives. Like we jump from one topic to another. And while you were talking, I also totally agree with you. Like perfectionism is being really hyped, which is not real. Like we are humans, we are far from being perfect. While you were speaking and I was listening, I also remembered the idea that I forgot before. Well, I guess like people in general, or like students, like teenagers, or like everyone being more depressed. I guess inactivity right now. Well,
Yeah,
I just, like when I was going through my books, I came across with a quote which says like, if you want to avoid depression, you should keep yourself busy. Inactivity is the enemy. And that quote literally hit me like a brick in my mind. Like it's like boom. Oh my god, it's so true. Because like as you mentioned, like AI is coming, robots are coming into your life, into our lives, and it's what literally making our lives really easy. You know,
yeah,
almost no labor is left for human beings to do, which creates more free time. Instead of
yeah,
using it for something productive as well, but we tend to waste it, and for social media, blah blah stuff. So as you have more free time, you will be depressed. That's why you should keep yourself as busy as possible. Even
like
we should take advantage of that technology, even if it makes our lives easy. You know.
really you need to become more physical, like being more physical in your life, doing exercises, being more physically active. That's what
Yes,
matters. Your mental health directly connected to your physical health.
exactly. It's literally connects your mind and your physical body. It's the same because the mind controls everything. You cannot all the time keep your mind busy with negative thoughts. You should keep your mind busy with something that requires cognitive function
Mm,
of working,
yeah,
doing something useful.
yeah, that's you can do like going to do daily like exercise for 30 minutes from which like if you're a beginner, you can start from 10 minutes, but you should like I think 1.5 hour to 2 hour exercise daily is must for everyone. Like for
Yes.
being like really active if you want to get like 30 minutes is also enough, but you're really focusing on your health, then it's 1.5 hour is enough. 2 hours you can do.
Yeah,
Everyone has that work. If no one is
literally,
and
it is important. Well, I today I had a new lesson and session with the like community that I created when we talked about like stress management, and all of the students were talking like, oh, I don't know why but I am feeling empty, I don't know why but I am feeling lazy, I cannot do my homework, I have no energy, I don't know but I'm kind of feeling stressed, like anxious. And I said, it's because you have so much free time and you don't know how to use it. And I literally explained them how important it is, like, to keep yourself busy all the time, doing physical exercise, doing cognitive exercise, like everything. It's really important.
yeah. So some people say that our generation is too soft. Do you think that's true, or is the world just getting harder to live in?
Um, Sorry, but can you repeat the question?
I'm saying like some people say nowadays like our generation is too soft. Do you think
Oh,
that's true? Or is the or the just world is getting too harder on us like to live?
yeah, of course. We are falling in a trap that we are created all the time. Like we are falling in a trap. I mean, by producing robots, we're making our lives easy. But on the other hand, like promoting social media and advertisements, we are making it worse. So I guess we're becoming soft. And also, we are making the life harder ourselves. It's our fault. It's the fault of human beings. Yeah, we are doing it for ourselves. And at the end, we're falling in the trap ourselves. It's literally disconnected.
I think the more the new generation is coming, they are like more softer. Like Gen Z is the soft,
Yeah,
but the next generation is Gen Alpha. They are more softer than us. Like they are
yeah,
creative, they are more softer. Like they are using the iPad and like this sorts watching for videos. We don't even know like these things when we are kids. Like we get on the internet. Like I think I will get on the internet 5 to 6 years ago. But they like just started using these things when they are like just one
early
year
age.
from their
Yeah,
birth. They just
they're being
already
raised with like iPads.
yeah yeah yeah. Now
It's
they-
really bad, unfortunately.
nowadays like kids of very small ages like their parents give them their mobile and like leave them and they don't care like uh, what happens. They don't know like in negatively, but these algorithms are really controlling their life. Like in the
Really.
early, more important, like just save their life and thinking how they think. So it's kind of very bad about these things about new generations and like yeah, like it's easy for us to like say about these things, not understand,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's
but
true.
we are just like expressing our opinion. Like all the things we're saying are subjective, of course.
So when was the last time you felt mentally exhausted and what caused it?
Yeah, of course. Like it was the before winter break, I guess. Well, I was, the deadline was coming for application. I had to meet the deadline, but at the same time, we had our graduation ceremony with some of my students, and also like my project, like it was school, like everything was like stuck in one place, and it was so hard to manage everything. And I had to not to sleep for like three days, so it was hard to manage. It was that mentally exhausted, really. Like managing everything was really hard at the time. Having a lot on my plate, that really sucked my energy.
Yeah. That's a little bit weird for you and too much busy. So, are you not get exhausted these days, like working too much and doing like too managing too much things?
Well, I've already get used to it. You know, if you keep yourself busy, you don't feel depression or stress because you will have no time to overthink it all. Well, I like this hectic schedule of mine. I feel more happier when I have busy schedule.
Like it's become your life, like it's become a part of your life, and
Yeah,
it is
because I'm
it
doing a lot of things. I'm liking
for
it.
others, it feels like so much difficult, but for the person who did it already, it feels like just common thing.
Yeah, no, if you have done it for the first time, of course it seems to be like hard. But if you have already formed it into habit, then of course
Yeah.
it's not gonna be that hard.
So, do you think we actually talk about mental health, and we just post about it? Like, do we just post about it? Like, we talk about it like in detail, like what's the problem facing, like how they are getting to get out of these things.
On social media, you know what? Like everyone is depressed. For real, everyone is depressed. They anonymously share everything that's going on in their lives, like without any boundaries. But in real life, you see, everyone is happy, like smiling. Like when you meet with your friends, they're smiling. Family members, they're smiling. Go somewhere, they're smiling. But they hide their pain inside them, and they are open on social media. They can share it anonymously. So when you go to TikTok, Instagram, or other social media, most of the time they're depressed. You know, they share depressing and sentimental stories, which they hide, like deep into their hearts, but they are open on social media. Everyone is hiding in real life, but on social media, they, reveal their true selves. Sometimes it hurts
Yeah,
because we cannot be open and tell everything to the face of the person, and face to face communication is not good. But on social media you can talk really in a free way. And yes, it's really weird.
that's a different way.
What do you think?
I think like people post like posting people different things on social media is just like they are trying to fake their lives. Mostly I notice like people so on the social media they are happy or like they are enjoying a lot, but in reality it's a lot different. Like they are not that much happy all the time. Everyone has their like problems in their life. So like
As they try not to show it in real life.
what?
But in real life, despite having a lot of problems, they try not to show it.
Yeah, yeah. So the good, like showing the this and everything is going good, but in reality it's different. But and they also like everything is good, but in reality it's like a lot different, and it's don't no one wants to talk the like what wrong is going, like what
Yeah,
are the wrong happened in their life, but everyone's to want to talk or show the good things. They don't want to see you like the wrong things in their life. That's the one of the worst thing in social media on like yeah.
it's not even considered normal right now to talk about your problems publicly, you know, with people discussing it. No, it's not considered normal
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes.
Generally, I ask you a question, it's different meaning. I ask you like, do you think we actually talk about talk about mental health, or do we just like post about it, like our mental health? How you
We
got
post
it?
about I have already told you, everyone posts, no one talks about their mental health. You know what? Like, when I, like, uh, all of, I mean, the community they created, the members of the community they created, I have been going a little bit on their personal lives, like learning them. You know what, like
Mm,
they have been posting on social media. I have, like observed them on social media. They were talking about how depressed they were continuously. But when I gathered the people in one place and asked them to speak, and they literally refused talking. Oh my god, come on, you don't have to talk about it. They were feeling shy, you know. They are, but publicly they're talking about it on social media. But when I asked them to talk about it, like face to face conversations, they were like refusing to talk. So you can know you feel
yeah,
comfortable posting, but not
in
discussing it
real life.
anymore. It feels kind of weird now to discuss your mental health problems. You feel like no one cared, but on social media you feel you can find people who can has the same experience as you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, if someone is listening us right now or feels trapped in social media addiction, where should they start to fix it?
Put put limitations for your app screen time for
Mm,
each social media, or like general screen time. Well,
mm,
I don't ask you, I wouldn't ask that person to delete completely. Maybe sometimes you need to check. Maybe you have something important on the social media. But it happens. Maybe you can congratulate your friend with your
mhm.
birthday, so you'll never know. So put app limitations, screen time limit for each app you use for social media. This is the best option.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got it. It's also a great point, but maybe my perspective may sound a little bit weird and different. I
Mm-hmm.
did it also the uh limit things, but from my perspective, what I did is like just like if you can do it, then you should must try this. If you are, it is possible for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just do everything like what is like not affecting your life, just like studying online. If you're like have to study things online, then it's okay, like only allow this, but quit all of the other things that are not necessary for you, like YouTube, Google, like everything that you think it's not going to be useful or mandatory for next 30 days. And like just quitting it, having a cold turkey like for next 30 days completely. And after that, when you just complete it, ask two questions from yourself, like what, like how I am feeling, like is I lived my life more happy, like I'm happy if I living that in that way I lived for 30 days, or like earlier I am happy, more happy than that.
Mm-hmm.
If answer
Yeah.
is no, like and like then move to the next question, like what like happened, like when I didn't all like I'm not using the social media for 30 days, is anyone care about me like online?
Mm-hmm.
Don't announce it online that you are quitting it for 30 days. Don't tell anyone. Just quit it like without anyone or anything. And like after 30 days, ask this question. If both answers, like both question answer is no, then quit it completely, like for completely. And when it's necessary, you can log in whenever it's necessary, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a thing you know. It's like I can tell you a example, like you can relate with that.
Uh-huh, go
Okay.
on.
Hmm?
Oh, so you will tell me the example, or should I tell you the example?
Yeah, we can. We both can tell. Okay. Okay.
Oh, you
So
you mean the challenge?
no, no, no. Like something related to that, like that will help you more understand about this challenge. It relates to that. Like a person who is like there is a story of the person in real life, and it's a like observation. I read it like somewhere. Yeah. So this
Mm-hmm.
person, like, let's suppose his name is A. A. Let's suppose his name is A. Like, and his Alex. Let's suppose. Then him like living in the house, and his room is so much big, like, and he put it too much things in there, like his house, too much things that are like you already know, like human has consumerist mindset. They consume things a lot, like we also. We put too much things what is not necessary in our lives. So what he did for his like maintaining things at like wait 1 minute. Yeah. For what he did for like organizing his things and finding like what is important in his life and what are the things that are not important. He just removed all of the things and just packed everything in the card boxes and put it like just packed like he's shifting to other place. And whenever he found something is needed, he just unpack the things and put the things where it is already like available previously. So just putting the things again from the card boxes he packed. So then he was able to find what is the thing that matters in his life. Like that is important only. So just like that, you can also get the things that is important on the internet if you will create it for the days, and you will get the realization by yourself. Like when you have nothing, then you will get by yourself what is required for me only. So that's the point here.
That that's really really clever. It really helps you to find your way and to clear up your mind and goals as well. It literally is really really useful.
So what's your example? What you're saying?
Um, uh, well, you can just do that in terms of your goals, for example. Sometimes, like like if you wanna start a productive day, you put too much tasks for yourself to do. Like you can list them, and sometimes some of them are not necessary to do in that day. It gets too crammed to do a lot of tasks in one day. So you have to get rid of and ask yourself those two questions and similar to that based on doing some changes about what goes, and you can just really know what is actually important to finish in that day and not putting too much pressure on yourself to complete maybe more than 30 tasks in a day and feeling anxiety after not completing it, I guess.
Yeah, that you can
And that
also
would
try.
work.
Mhm. So do you think quitting cold turkey works, or we should take small steps?
What can you repeat?
Do you think getting cold turkey, quitting like a cold turkey works, or we should like to, should we take small steps first? Like
Of
we should
course.
quit completely, or like we should start from small steps.
Of course, I was everyone would say we still small steps. Like you cannot just do it completely, you know. Even a tree grows from a seed sometimes. So
Yeah.
you should start with small steps, not putting any pressure in order to avoid extra stress.
Mm.
Everyone knows, like who are into self-improvement books or self-improvement process, everyone knows that it's important to start with small steps.
If you have to delete every app except one, would you keep it or why? Which
Well,
one you keep it and why?
I would delete everything but except my reminder app. Well, There is too much thing going. As I am doing too much things, trying to manage all of these things, I have my ideas crammed in mind. Sometimes I forget what should I do. Like I have the plans and they disappear. Like tonight I will do that, or tonight I will do this. When I wake up, I will do this. Sometimes I tend to forget, so I put timer and reminder, and it tells me, sends me notification of what should I do, and it really helps me to be aware and mindful about what I am doing as well. So I would keep my reminder app, because daily, like, I get notifications like more than 10, like around 50 notifications every day, because it reminds me what should I do, because I don't miss out any. So it's really, really useful for me not to miss anything and remember everything on time.
Yeah, I also use it, reminding.
Sometimes it's hard to remember everything, like especially your ideas.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
And you have to remind yourself how important they are.
Yeah. For me also, it's like notes application on which like I cover most of the things, and it's also have a reminder option, so I use
Mm,
both. So if you like,
ours is the
what,
same.
yeah, what are the some habits you personally use to stay in control your screen time, like control of your screen time?
Yeah, I as I mentioned above, like previous questions, I use screen time limit. Like I have screen time for each application and general overall screen time. Sometimes I use social media. I cannot delete them uh, for my, like study and work purposes. That's
Yeah.
why we need them. So I just, in order to avoid myself to waste extra time on social media, I put like app limitations, screen time limitations.
Okay. Okay, that's good way. I think from my
Same for me.
personal habit, setting a distraction time for you, like a time when you use the things you want to use, like enjoy, or like having setting a time for 30 minutes in a day, like at that time I will do use it for 30 minutes, and during all day I will work on my things what is important. So setting up distraction time also works great. Like in the 30
So,
minutes you consume the things whatever you think like you are interested in, like getting knowledge about that things. That will also like help you, like you don't need any pressure to control your addiction. Like
mm,
you will things quit easily by like you're getting the things you want and getting that like good feeling without watching weird things, like and getting like like better feeling than that previously. I think when you watch the things you are interested in, like many people
mm,
dressed in different categories. So like what in which field you are interested in, what kind of videos you will watch, like what kind of information you take inside your mind, like for 30 minutes do that on the things like that adds value and like change your perspective, like change your personality, like that things you're really interested in, like that. You can learn anything that makes you like feel like a game like that
mm,
for you.
mm. Well, maybe we should end this here. I mean, it's been like more than 1 hour, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's been more than 1 hour. Yeah.
We'll do the session for
Should we do the like outro,
like
like the
like
very one, like
good of this podcast because we are not able to complete the all of the things. So
yeah.
I think this conversation has been eye-opening. We have covered how technology is rewiring our brains and how social media is shaping our mental health, and most importantly, how you can break free from this cycle. But
Yeah.
here is the thing, just knowing the problem isn't enough. Like change happens when you take actions. Maybe like it's putting your phone away for an hour. Maybe it's questioning why you are scrolling. Maybe
Mhm.
it's like starting to have a conversation about this with a friend. Before we go, Omka, any final thoughts, one piece of advice for everyone who is
Oh
listening
yeah.
now?
So whatever happens in life, please don't feel lonely and don't be too harsh on yourself. I know like you tend to compare yourself on people on social media, but whatever the reason is, don't feel isolated. Sometimes I see people like they say like, well, no one needs me. I'm so useless, or I'm not an important person. They
Yeah,
think that no one can understand them. But believe me, there are people, no matter your condition, who feel the same and who are in the same situation as you. No matter what, just try to talk to people instead of hiding yourself in a shell. Please be open and talk to someone who you trust, because there are people who listen to you, who value you, who really appreciate you. Never feel lonely because you are not alone. Whatever is going on, there is one person at least in the world who's feeling the same things as you. So you don't have to worry about what's going to happen in the future, and never feel lonely. Don't isolate yourself. Whatever happens, be strong and never feel alone.
yeah, that's a great advice. And like, yeah, that's the main thing like people facing also, like kind of very helpful for them. Like
It's like
just be-
major teenager problem.
what?
It's like really major teenagers problem. They feel
Yeah, yeah,
lonely
yeah.
and their parents don't understand them, and like they have like hide in their minds negative thoughts
Mm-hmm.
like this. So thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me for your podcast. And
A
I
lot.
really had a great conversation, and also we had a lot of fun. I also learned a lot of insights from you, which were really useful, and I'm gonna use those tips and methods, and I'm gonna read some of the books you mentioned as well, because they've been really useful for me. And yeah, it's become really great experience, and I'm really glad that I was part of your podcast.
Oh, it's been like a pleasure for me to talk to you. Like I learned a lot of things from you also, and that's powerful. And with that, we are wrapping up today's episode. If this conversation made you think even for a second, then do something with it. Share it, talk about it, and most importantly, take
Bye bye.
control of your own life. That is Stranger's podcast. And when we don't just listen, we learn. I shall see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye bye.